him early, Misfits. You have the chance.
I mean, just get rid of Ivern, look to early pick the Gragas. And this is what I said before with Aurelion. Soul, keep it banned just because it is such an annoying champion to play against. It kind of changes the entire game. But I think here's where you can leave Twitch open. Get rid of Gragas, Shen, and then Reckless needs to decide if he wants to play Twitch or Kennen anyway. And you might actually not even see the Twitch in the first place.
Yeah, definitely need to experiment. You need to at least find out what would have happened if we did something else. If you're Misfits Fnatic, they're obviously going for the same set of bans 3 times in a row right now. If they lock in the Orianna, the suspense is there.
I know, we're waiting. What will it be? The big question, of course, is what Misfits' final ban will be. Will it be the Gragas
or the Ivern? It's one of the two that we're looking at as a last ban here for Misfits. Now, Ivern into an early pick Gragas for Alphari makes a lot of sense if you are the Misfits. That's the Ivern ban, so we got that one. Broxah now, sadly for him, can play his other comfort pick, Lee Sin.
Yeah, they can trade. So coming into the series, we would expect Lee Sin and Lee to be both open, both being willingly traded, and another champion, strong pick like Kennen, for example, like Syndra maybe even being locked in early for Fnatic.
And I think actually now, if you are Misfits, going something like Gragas plus, or actually you can even potentially ban the Gragas next time if you want to, but otherwise you can take Gragas here and then you can take your preferred jungler of Lee Sin or Elise, get a ganking jungler for Kakao where he can really try and snowball the early game. A champion where he's a bit more comfortable as well, and then save that last pick potentially for Power of Evil in the first phase.
Yeah, and you have to get rid of, you have to pick your jungler here because you don't want to be in a position where you get surprised and you have to match your jungler on the 3rd rotation, so you can't be flexible in pick and ban here for Misfits.
Good. We got one of them here if he locks in this Lee Sin. I think this is smart.
Yeah.
Now, Elise obviously is a very good pick for Broxah as well. A jungler where he can really gank early, offer CC and burst on his own. So it's very much comfort for Fnatic at the moment. They can still take like Elise LeBlanc here, and then it's up to Power of Evil if he wants another like Lulu mid lane against the LeBlanc.
And for Kakao, Lee Sin has been the crux, even for Misfits, as they've been able to find so many aggressive plays with him on this Lee Sin. Broxah is fighting back, as predicted, with an Elise for himself.
Should just see the LeBlanc again for Caps.
Yeah.
Worked just fine in the last one.
It's much harder to get banned out. I wouldn't even mind seeing Fnatic pick Gragas here and have Caps dig a little deeper into his champion pool in the 2nd phase.
I think if you go Camille now, you just, again, you don't ban away like things like Fizz Renekton straight away. Like, get rid of tanks.
Yeah.
Put Soaz on a carry. Challenge Soaz to play against Alphari and Kakao up in that top lane.
The one caveat though is Renekton Elise as a combo.
It is scary, I definitely agree. So maybe you just remove Renekton plus Gragas and you leave the Fizz open. Like Fizz's early game is not that dangerous against Camille. You can definitely lane against that. Misfits do opt into the bot lane with Caitlyn. Last time Fnatic got to ban away a lot of these AD carries, not this time.
And the last time we saw the Caitlyn Lulu lane come out for Misfits, it was against the Unicorns, and it was not nearly as successful as they wanted or needed it to be. That was one of those lanes where they went even, despite having a winning matchup in their favor.
With the Caitlyn Lulu being such a strong pick here, maybe it's worth for Fnatic to just waste 1 ban on the Rise. Because they no longer have to go for double AD carry bans as they usually had to, because obviously Caitlyn's already locked in. So they have the liberty to maybe say, you can't flex the Lulu, you need to keep it mid lane.
Okay.
And then when Misfits are banning out these other range supports, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot.
Support ban from Fnatic as well. Like, this is where, again, putting Lulu mid just means that support pick for Ignore gets so much value, because it also will be a takeaway from Jesse. So if you do take just Karma for Misfits, you run a pure shielding comp with a Caitlyn as your late game monster, you basically prevent Elise and LeBlanc for killing anything in a team fight, and you deny that Karma away from Jessus as well. So there's a lot of supports being removed at the moment.
That's also another support being removed here to Camille. They don't want to get hard engaged early and getting snowballed down, so it does seem like Misfits playing a much more late game focused style, a hyper carry protection comp.
Yeah, I think it's either like Gragas coming in early from them to deny it, or it is just like take a Karma, and then last pick for Alphari up in the top lane and see if you can give him a winning matchup as well. Even more support bans.
Now saving kind of those last few picks to set Alphari up, to set power up potentially for success. Unless we see that Lulu flexed into the mid lane, they do offer the Gragas here. That was a pick that Alphari found success on. Once again, something that can make plays in the hands of this man in the top lane is always a good thing for the side of Misfits.
And you take it away from Soaz. I feel like that is the main thing, main reason you want to pick this. It's not because Alphari is a fantastic tank player, it's just to deny it from a guy who is a fantastic tank player, which is Soaz.
There is still the adaptation for Fnatic to say, you know what, you get the Kennen top lane, and we're just going to play a standard AD carry in the bottom lane.
See, any other team, I would be like, yes.
I mean, they could surprise us by doing that because Fnatic has gone so deep into this Cannon 80 carry. It's totally unexpected for them to do it right now, which would then fit their pattern of doing
the unexpected. Very true. There's also the situation where Source just goes Nautilus and he's like, guys, I'm just going to play tanks. It's what's working for me right now. I think this takeaway is good for Fnatic with the Karma because he could have been very strong on the side of Misfits. And I wonder if we just get Nautilus here for Source, or if he will spice it up.
See what the option will be.
Finley's like, okay, I give you a lot of liberty, but I'm not talking about Master Yi. It's not happening.
No, I swear you stuttered, says Joseph. I said, you said Master Yi. I swear I heard it.
No, even Reckless is shaking his head.
Guys, this is too far. Too far.
Guys. Okay, all right, there we go. Back to the top lane. All right, Hamburg, let's get it together. Let's calm down just a little bit. Gnar up against the Gragas, though. Now, this is not necessarily the traditional tank pick that we've seen be successful in the hands of SOAS.
Yeah, some tankiness, obviously, from him on Gnar, but much harder to execute than a Gragas, in my opinion. Puts a lot more now on SOAS and his individual ability. Nami counter to Karma.
Yeah. This is interesting because when I look at this team, gentlemen, now assembled on the side of Misfits with this Nami lock in, I see one source of damage as we move later in the game, and that is Hans Sama, and they're putting it all on this man in Game 3.
Yeah, but they can definitely be catered towards. He can be kept alive, and he can perform in these team fights. The problem is will Fnatic just solo with their early game pick-centered style, which actually reaps them a lot of benefits usually when they play it.
Yeah, last game was 26 minutes, so it definitely worked for Fnatic in that one. Misfits here, definitely been watching LCK earlier today, because Game 3 was so close to this draft, also with early Lulu that got put into mid, and then your last pick Karma with the Nami down in the bottom lane to try and get really strong lane matchups like Kate Nami, fantastic 2v2 lane. Lulu we know is going to be safe and fine and even fairly strong in the mid lane. I like the lane setups this time, and I like Kakao on Lee Sin.
Yeah, definitely a really big counter matchup in the bottom. Caitlyn outranges Cannon, has better trades. We have the potential setup of Bubble being comboed with the traps conditionally. We have the sustain, which beats the poke from Nami, and also the slows to really keep the Caitlyn at range. You know, it's a really great laning matchup, so much harder for Fnatic to fight their way out.
As you get ready for the game, we talk about a single damage source, but Power People's been the one to mix that up. The Nashor's Tooth on the Lulu. Maybe Misfits will
damage source.
It wasn't in that game because he didn't auto attack Deficio.
Yeah,
the one thing though that could change it all is Fnatic have played weaker matches before, and then Broxah just spam gang bot lane, and Nami is quite susceptible to repetitive ganks because if she loses her flash, she obviously has no gap closing ability.
Definitely a tough spot once again. This is Misfits backed into a corner. They're putting all their eggs in the Hans Sama basket this time around. They have to survive. They have to hold through if they want to make it through it. But Karma and the rest of the Fnatic lineup, they got everything that they want. They get to play the style that they love to play, and Misfits feels like their ultimate challenge. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. It's Game 3. If you are a Fnatic fan, you want to see it end here. And if you believe in the Misfits, you want to see the reverse sweep. You want to see Fnatic go out just like Splice here in the third place match.
So very, very interesting pick and ban phase from Misfits. Good adaptations. I like the fact they didn't waste bans on, again, some of these top laners like Renekton that we don't really see a whole lot from Fnatic. Gnar coming in for Source, though, again, is tricky. Like, Gragas is such a strong laner, and Gnar will obviously take over the late game split push once you get like a Black Cleaver on him. But getting there will take time.
Yeah.
And Broxah can look to go mid and bot lane more than top.
For now.
Great point, Deficio.
Everyone agrees with the point. They're cheering.
They're literally standing up for you.
They're taking turns standing up to Deficio. They don't want to overwhelm you.
They're doing the wave, though, around in the arena.
Well, we see a very calm level 1, despite all of the changes, or all the aggressive starts that we've seen so far in the series. Hamburg is ready.
Kind of want to get the camera on this, but we're watching Broxah do
Raptors are more exciting than a wave.
This is the first time in the series that Broxah has gotten his Raptors. I'm excited about that too.
Will it cost him the game? Maybe that was the answer for Fnatic. No Raptors level 1 for Broxah.
Fnatic, when taking Raptors, 0-1. Here we see Hans Sama and Ignar using the range advantage and the fact that they have AoE clear on the 80 carry, stepping forward.
Ignar taking a lot of poke though.
Yeah, you want to stay near Dying Creeps. Ignar's actually really far up here. This is going to be not so great of a trade.
Glad to see the crowd enjoying the level 1 trades as well, down in the bottom lane, just like you, Crepo.
That's me right now. Like, whenever I see this at home, I'm just,
Way! We are, of course, in a city that is very famous for football.
And fish.
And fish, yeah.
Fish market. Tribute to the Nami, that's why they're doing the wave.
Smart. Makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
They
once you
really
think about it.
understand
Yeah.
the current flow here. It looks beautiful, though, in this arena. While we see some trading top lane, that's not too exciting.
They like the trading top lane as well. The crowd.
It's a positive group of people.
I see trades, I wave.
Well, Hansama wants to get some trades down himself. Fnatic says no to the trades. We're still fans of that, though.
Well, Fnatic says, damn, we just got counterpicked bot lane completely.
Oh, this is a rough match. If you stay marginally ahead in terms of the push, you bully them on every single attempt for CS. And then you bully them even more in the turret, because you can place 2 traps down in the turret, and then you funnel them into an area where they just get to poke the living crap out of them. It's not very pleasant.
Now, last game here, Hansama got 3 kills on Lucian. It actually looked like he could really start doing something in the game, but then everything went wrong for Misfits. This is the game where he needs to carry. He needs to pull some reckless numbers for Misfits to win.
Well, he's set up now to play super aggressive. A lot of vision placed on the bottom side by Misfits to ensure that they can keep pushing forward.
Yeah, that's the fun part. If you push super slow early on, you can save both wards and eliminate any gank attempt from Broxah. Look at Ignar. He wants to get rid of the blast cone right now because he knows Broxah could always show up in that bottom lane. Now the Misfits, they want to find Broxah.
Hoping to catch him out, hoping to spot him out, but the jungle path going to be greatly different this time around. Kakao didn't get interrupted. Kakao did not get to shut him down in the early game. So now they got to keep moving forward.
I feel like the crowd's just waiting for that first blood. If what happens, they will keep doing the wave.
What was it, 28 minutes? Is that our record?
We had a 29 minutes, yes?
29.
29. That's going to be some tired people in here all of a sudden.
Broxah, though, now set up on the bottom side of the map. The wards are going to start dying out here shortly for the side of Misfits, and they're going to have to respect the potential for Elise to come roaming in. But Kakao also moving into the jungle here, maybe hoping to spot out Broxah.
Kakao is not spotted, but let's see what can Broxah do. Rex is going in, he's giving it away. Ignar needs to flash.
Ignite, auto attacks going down, moving, looking for just a little bit more. Ignar does go down. That's first blood for Reckless. Broxah dishing out some damage in return, but the crowd is electric as a kill drops for Fnatic.
Yeah, and that was a 2v2 first blood. Yes, the jungler was there to obviously force Ignar to play more passive, but he took so much damage even before the flash. Kakao is here to try and help Hansama actually push his wave, or at least get the wave. So if you lose this as a Caitlyn, you can wave goodbye to basically the next 25 minutes, because your mid game is so bad anyway, like you can never afford falling behind.
Yeah, that's a lot of waves.
Hansama doing his best to keep this up, though.
I want to see what happened, though. How did Ignar end up in a position where he was so overextended? I think it was just a very late flash as well, and he's playing against an Ignite lane. The problem with this matchup is supports have it put it into their brain when it was exhaust meta, when you used to play Nami to Karma. But the extra Ignite taking in, reducing both the summoner heal and your own heal, really puts you at a much lower threshold where you can just die.
Yeah, it is definitely easier now to all in the bot lane. Also with the longer TP that obviously happened quite a while ago, you can definitely play more aggressive, and we actually see that quite a lot with all these mage supports. People are going for more kills. It also fits Jessis and Reckless. Like these 2 guys, especially Jessis, he was very early on saying, we are the best bot lane in Europe. Now, a lot of people obviously were like, Sven and Methi, anyone? But they've always been very confident in 2v2 laning, and we see it here.
Yeah, I think this is where you just flash it if you're Ignar, because you know when the camera starts spinning, you're about to die. It's that final Q from Reckless that connects and just gets a stun off. And you know Reckless will never go in aggressive like that unless the jungler's nearby. So that's that point, at which point you need to go for the respect flash.
And instantly now, Fnatic set up a ton of vision on bottom side, making it almost impossible for Kakao to actually set up a gank down here. Kakao needs his level 6, and then he needs to be a playmaker.
And we talked about this, the bottom side, the Nami, so vulnerable when she doesn't have the flash. Not only did Ignar lose the flash, he lost his life, and that is not at all what Misfits can afford to do in the early game when they're against a team that's set up to snowball so hard.
So you have to remember top lane as well, Soas with this Gnar pick here, he will completely take over the side lane push, and Alfari needs to then look for teleports. Like Alfari needs to be able to leave his lane, join his team, and that has been the biggest weakness of Alfari all split long, is when he had to be the proactive engage.
But he just had a teacher. Soas taught him 2 games in a row how to do it, so all he needs to do is just remember.
Remember, what does Soas do? Okay, get home guards, TP in behind the AD carry, set up the engage. Let's see if it works. Broxah has found his way to the bottom lane.
The classic lane gank. AD carry walks back in lane to place his control ward. I wonder why he no longer has that control ward in his inventory. Who could show up in this lane?
this guy we haven't seen on the map for quite a while. Obviously not a lot of wards from Misfits either. He can't sneak into the second one. He will get spotted by the melee minions.
That's fine. Ignor's just gonna walk up and get Cocoon here.
Oh,
Also, they stopped contesting the push. Reckless and Jezzy, suddenly they play super meek and passive. They're even eating auto attacks. So I
just
think
left the lane.
at this point,
Too
I think
obvious.
the Misfits know.
Ignore. Oh, no, that's forward. No, that's not what they needed. Misfits, they're falling apart. Not even setting their sights on Ignore. They're getting him.
They did not know.
Well, no flash from Ignore. He tried to stay so far back, and Broxah flash Cocoon and said, man, he's dead. That's bot lane tower. Now, set up to fall. Actually, no, because Misfits are here with Power of Evil as well. He's giving up mid lane pressure.
Yeah, no teleport, but he just takes the long scenic tour of Summoner's Rift. Obviously, you assume that the jungler would have flashed on that previous gank because that's why you died, but they just died pure 2v2, so
Of course.
Broxah kept his flash and Ignar. Two really avoidable deaths.
And the confidence coming in from Broxah in this series. 2 games on the Ivern, setting his team up for success despite Cacao trying to shut him down. Now returning to the bottom lane, punishing Ignar for early mistakes. This man is setting Fnatic up so well for success.
And I think we also have to praise Caps coming in here for Fnatic. A lot of pressure on him, but he's still performing in this LeBlanc versus Lulu matchup.
They've been winning both lanes. A lot of pressure early. No kill pressure for Power of Evil in return with the cleanse. That is a problem for him.
Cleanse Negatron.
Yeah, so he's going like extremely defensive build, and I think this is fine if your bot lane is getting ahead. I think this is good if your AD carry is really going to be strong also coming into the mid game, because then you buff him up and he's going to be the big carry. Your AD carry in the mid game is Caitlyn. She wants to get 3 items.
Yeah.
She's not winning her laning phase right now, so the very defensive Lulu, who's going to set up Hansama to carry, that's going to be tricky.
And this may be delving too deep into like bot lane specifics, but the reason this matchup is so brutal is because when Caitlyn bases, she can invest purely in AD with that BF sword. She also starts at Dorns versus the longsword from Kennen. So if you play it well, you base, you get a BF sword, the enemy Kennen is sitting on a cutlass. That's it. Or boots too. And then you can just abuse the matchup to the extreme point where you then get the dent in the turret. The problem is those 2 early deaths have given Reckless so much gold with 2 kills that he's now has parity in dueling strength. And it makes it so much easier for Fnatic to play.
Yeah, and
the
he has
cutlass.
sustain.
Exactly, helps master sustain of the Nami, exactly what they want here. But Caps playing with his food a little bit in the mid lane. Already a sizable lead in CS for LeBlanc in the early game, and it feels like everything is working out exactly the way Fnatic needed to.
And obviously we didn't really mention why Power of Evil is running Cleanse in this matchup. It's because of Elise this time around. Like, he needs to respect the potential camp around the mid lane. LeBlanc is one of the best mages at setting up jungle ganks, and Elise obviously is one of the best early game junglers
Broxah
at
doesn't
ganking.
care.
No, Broxah is like, well, fine, I just don't go mid, I just go bot lane anyway.
Yeah, my name is Broxah. I play ganking jungler for Fnatic. I'm gonna go bot lane.
So it's kind of really sucky here for Power of Evil because he actually needs to run the cleanse against so much CC early game, but he's just not the target. He's baiting now. He's trying to bait. He's trying to bait like Caps, distortions into him, then Lulu just knocks, herself up with the ulti, and then suddenly Cacao can gank. But Caps is playing this really well.
No distortion in, but Reckless is going to leap forward. They're looking to lock him down. The Ignite's coming out. Hansama, can he get anything back? He's standing right in the circle. The damage comes out, though. Reckless is alive and well. He's running for his life. The auto! The shutdown for Ignar, but Jezis, he wants to get one back. Running forward. In goes the snare. Out comes the heal. And away walks Ignar.
And it's a sustain from the cutlass that keeps him alive long enough. Alfari fail flash, actually.
Fight continues on the top side, but Soaz is just fine. Explosion of action all across the map.
Caps is spotted on a ward here, but he's on the way top to see if he can deny something from Alfari up here. Gets nothing other than a ward. Small win. Vision is also a win.
Vision is always important. The trigger for that bot lane fight was actually the junglers both showing in the mid lane. Reckless and Jezis immediately pulled the trigger. But yeah, the later these fights go, the more valuable this exhaust gets against the Kennen. You also saw the power of a bubble if it connects. Very close to winning that trade on the side of the Misfits.
Fnatic have to be careful now, too. Hansama very close to having his flash back up, Ignar as well, and the Summoner spell's very far away from the side of Fnatic. Maybe we'll see Cacao shift his attention over to that bottom side, give them a bit of a helping hand on the bottom side of the map, set that Caitlyn up so she can get out of that mid game as fast as possible.
He's mid lane again because they're trying to bait Caps into again taking this trade where he can then get whimsied or knocked up, and then they can gank him, kill him, but there's still flash available on LeBlanc. And Caps, as you can see, whenever Cacao's been missing, or it's been seen recently near the mid lane, Caps here just sits back. He doesn't go for anything. He literally just stays and wave clears. And this means Cacao is actually wasting a lot of time. And you can see the deep walls from Fnatic. will just always spot the jungler.
And that's like the difference between stage and scrims. In stage, maybe Cass will be even more aggressive. We see the trade here again. It's wave into bubble. Timed pretty well here. Maximizing CC uptime, so I don't think Misfits could have done much more here to outplay that scenario. They're just too far behind, and the sustain from the Cutlass that we talked about earlier allowed Reckless to really survive in that fight.
Getting a shot down is really good. Sadly, it's on Ignar, but obviously Ignar struggled with the first 2 kills here. I do want to praise him for that one. Like, really good setup. Ulti, exhaust into his bubble, did everything he was supposed to do. And obviously made sure it's 1-for-1 at least, despite being behind in the lane. But Soas is going to be super annoying up top lane. Black Cleaver soon completed.
We can see, guys, that Fnatic are in control of the game. There's no question there. They've been doing well. Misfits kind of struggling to get anything back. But if they stall long enough, if they hold on, can they just win? Waiting for this Caitlyn to scale up, waiting to get this pick up and rolling.
Definitely.
If you get late enough, yes.
But then we're talking 35+ minutes into the game.
Yeah.
You're going to bleed a lot of side lane turrets. It's at that point where the base becomes like your perimeter, and Caitlyn can fight their way out with a trap line, you know, with the Runons. Legit 1v9ing fights. The problem is Fnatic, they still have so many objectives worth to take. If one domino falls for the Misfits, a lot of these side lane turrets are going to fall off. And Broxa, with his Moby Elise, has been known to really find these openings.
Yeah, that's why obviously also when you see Caitlyn picked, it's not picked to say, oh, okay, let's not do anything for like 30 minutes and then just go full late game. It's picked as a lane fully. It's picked to get a lot of extra gold in the game itself, because you can get all these towers down. Yes, you might trade some of them, but if you have a game with ton of kills, ton of towers, a lot of gold flying around, then you will hit 3 items fairly quickly on this Caitlyn, and then you can buffer up very early on. We don't have to wait for the 40-minute mark. These games now where you lose lane as Caitlyn, you never get to hit a tower, and you never really get to find any gold or any value for your team.
Yeah, you're victim to your opposition's pacing, but at least the Misfits, they find an early objective that can maybe later get there. Nashor, you know, that mountain break, pretty important. It's up to Fnatic right now to snowball. They're running a pick comp, which generally gets outscaled. Obviously, in group scenarios, they're not as strong, so they need to keep the map open. And this guy right here, Caps, he'll have to clear out the vision on the brushes next to his lane, go back, push it out, and then start roaming to the top side. He can assist Soas in the push, he can assist Reckless in the push. There's so much he could do on the map.
And Soas is such a huge threat to this top lane tower. He may not even need help. It's just a matter of time because he has the buff from the Rift Herald. He has the advantage here, and there's just not a lot that Gragas can do to stop him from auto-attacking the tower. But now I got Nami moving into the mid lane. Caps potentially going to back off here. Tidal Waves connects on the Caps.
Nice
and they get the follow-up. CC locks down Kakao. He goes in. He gets it anyway. Now moving forward. Broxa running for his life. Glitterlands connects. Broxa up, Broxa down, is going to be able to walk away from this one, but that's a start for Misfits.
A really good setup here. They've been trying to bait a gank here in the mid lane so often. They had to add their Nami as well.
Soas in trouble, and Mini Gnar. Alphari looking to turn this one back, but the Hyper going to make it pretty easy to walk away. Alphari just going to have to back off in the end. Reckless now exhausted. Kakao is here as well, but here comes Han Sama. Ignar running for his life, but he just gets taken down.
And a great play by Ignar in the mid lane, really surprising. Caps with the wave bubble combination now gets nullified because he takes the greedy path down in the bottom lane, obviously not respecting where Broxa could be.
So first tower now falling in favor of Fnatic. They managed to win this lane here through a lot of ganks from multiple members, but also winning 2v2. We got to give them that credit, Reckless and Jessus. Mid lane, we got the gank coming in from Misfits, and it's kind of responses. They're trying to just get something, but the lane they were actually supposed to kind of play around the bot lane, well, that's the lane that suffered the most. And that's why winning this game now for Misfits is so difficult, because you actually rely a lot on Fnatic really slowing down.
It's so hard because Fnatic continue to shift up what they want to do. Games 1, Game 2 was kind of about playing towards topside, setting Soaz up for success. But Game 3, all about the bottom lane once again, and it feels like Misfits just don't know how to adapt.
Yeah, and the one constant is this cannon pick on Reckless is working out. Whether it's early pick, early stages of the game later on. I love this combination here, the surprise roam from a Nami, who then has really big influence over the wall with the wave Q combo, is fantastic, but then you can't take this path. Look at Jessus and Broxa really playing the situation well, and the utility and the CC that a Cannon AD carry brings is really paying off here.
Soaz is dead.
Oh.
Which is
happens.
a fairly standard play as well from our good friend up in the top lane. Tends to have one of these moments where he will overextend quite a lot.
Test the limits.
Testing limits. He got a lot of damage on his top tower. Obviously what Fnatic is doing here is not lane swapping because they know Gnar will take tower 1v1, so they just keep Soaz sitting up there. That's also what Misfits knew, and that's why they respond to top.
And they know that if Misfits rotate, they will just be faster on the bottom lane play. because they already had the push going here, so they can take a tier 2 for tier 1.
Plus, they have the power of the Elise, such a strong champion when it comes to pushing those towers. Misfits going to do their best to get something back, but already Fnatic setting the pace for this game. And Power, if he goes down here, this will be disastrous for the team.
Caps does not need to kill him. He just needs to get him away from the turret, so when the next wave crashes or when Fnatic proxy this one, this turret's under pressure. You don't always have to kill people to send them back to base. If they just have to base in itself, it's enough to siege turrets.
One small positive for Misfits here is they got this top lane tower, but sadly for them, they're losing in the bot lane, they're losing in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
And it really feels like right now Misfits are starting to bleed out because Fnatic continue to dictate to them what is going to happen. They continue to react, continue to be on the back foot, and now Soaz is in the top lane, and he is set up to take that lane if no one contests it.
Someone might try and go up and defend it, but that simply means Fnatic can go back to base, get the items, return to lane. Oh, Soaz might set up a trap. No.
Oh, he learned. He was playing passive. I was so proud of Soaz, you know, 10% on the turret, you can walk up, you can kill it, but you know they're missing. So he steps away.
I would have gone for it again.
He could have gone for 2v1.
He could have tried.
You're on stage, your team is winning.
Just teleport to get out.
Yeah, that's why you go for the 2v1. Let's see, so it's probably Alfari just knocking back, then he gets kicked back. Okay.
He got tossed around right there.
Misfits helped him overextend right there.
He makes it out for a brief moment, so I was just like, I'm free. They can't chase me. And there's Han Sama standing right there.
Yeah, really good bounce there by Soaz.
Ooh, look at bot lane and mid lane here, because Fnatic pushing 2 lanes at the same time while Misfits are trying to trade for top lane tower.
Power. Flash over the wall comes in from Jezis. There's Reckless with the backup damage. Power is now in trouble. Tries to make it out of the wild growth. Not enough, and Reckless gets another kill.
Yeah, really good pathing between these lanes. There's no tier 2 turret available, which means they can push really deep on that bot side and really facilitate the push on the mid lane turret too. Misfits, they're trying to catch on here, but this is such a great spot for Fnatic to be in.
Oh, Soaz, that's the 1v3. He's just doing it to try and defend here.
Tidal wave comes in. Soaz going to get chain CC'd here. Tower does go down. Soaz set to fall. Misfits grab the tower as well, but what can Fnatic get in return?
Let's see if they can actually get the inhib tower here. They didn't kill it yet. There's no minions for at least another 10 seconds in that bottom lane. They get mid tower though.
And it's so big for Fnatic because now they can push even further in the mid lane. They get even more mid lane priority, which means the closer to the base that Misfits have to catch their waves, the more distance Fnatic can travel and set up vision baits. They can make picks and brushes, and that's where their composition really thrives. If you can hide an Elise, hide a Cannon, hide a LeBlanc anywhere unseen, that's so much pressure.
Terrible spot to be.
Always get an Infernal Drake as well, which is really good here for Misfits. And that's the thing, like you just mentioned here, Mitch, before, with pushing these lanes deeper inside enemy territory, always gives you so many paths you can just move. And Cow's trying to big play here.
Caps needs to figure out a path out of this one. No, he fumbles! That's not what you need on a big stage. Bit of a miscommunication, and that's exactly what Misfits want.
The first player to juke Broxah this entire series is actually his teammate, Caps.
Ooh, so kill Van Sama here, and Misfits buying some time. That's so important because, as we were about to say before, when these waves gets pushed in towards that inhib, like you can move into the enemy jungle in so many different ways. You can just get so much vision through minions, first of all, but also the very deep vision. TP in from Source with Mechanar, will TP in from LeBlanc. Suddenly, you get caught.
And remember, the more time they can buy sets Han Sama up for success. He's halfway to his second item. Once he starts getting to third and fourth, maybe.
We're waiting.
And everything you do, right? At this point, a kill is not about finding a lead. It's about buying time. Although as the gold is so close, maybe Misfits can get something back.
Yeah, so this is Caps missing a chain on the Ignar. He would have been dead right there if that connected.
Oh,
Flash is late.
That's the key one. He's gonna hate himself for that one, and this one too.
Ooh, no, Broxah was in position.
Whoops.
Who knows?
Whoops.
Oh. It's all good, guys. He's all right. Moving for more. Caps continues to clear out the waves. Once again, Misfits buy a little bit of time, but Fnatic still dominate this map for now. They have the winning matchups. Soaz now committed to the bottom side. Reckless on the top.
Yeah, they keep moving Soaz actually away and put him on the long lane. They have Reckless Siege with the support. This is honestly signature Fnatic style 1-1-3. Despite LeBlanc being a really good side lane player, despite LeBlanc really thriving on a side lane with teleport, it is not the right formation for her to be in this game.
It's just you can't put the cannon mid. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's too slow.
Yeah, his wave play is not good enough. He's not really able to defend, and he wants to obviously skirmish. He wants to fight 1v1, 2v2 all the time, and that's why you have to put him side lane. And it's also just a reckless playstyle with this Fnatic team.
And Fnatic playing it right there. They pushed up, but they don't go for the siege. The first thing they need to access that tier 2 turret
Trap.
is vision, and that's exactly what they're doing right here. They're challenging vision in the enemy jungle first, so that then later they can go 4-1 or 3-1-1 topside.
But the reason Misfits are actually allowed to sit here and defend and challenge this vision is because the lanes are not being pushed in by Fnatic. Mid lane is the most important one,
Yes.
and they just pushed it now. So now you can see Ansama needs to go in and defend it. If you're Fnatic, you can push it even further with multiple members. Have Ansama sit at that inhib tower, and then you have free access of the enemy jungle.
But the problem for that to work, they need to bring Soaz into the fold. Either have him keep Alfari on lockdown, because otherwise if Alfari suddenly shows up, it's much easier for Misfits to group up and be faster in changing lanes. Like, the distance that Soaz has to travel from bot to top, compared to that what Alfari has to do, it's much easier on this smaller map near your base.
And Soaz not necessarily set up to teamfight at this point, has opted for the Bilgewater Cutlass, maybe a Blade of the Rune King, maybe an aggressive side lane build, but it's not a tanky Gnar that's going to help out in a teamfight.
I personally missed the Hurricane Gnar from Wicked.
I'm so sad that in
Catch
on, like he was so convinced. That was the build. Korean top laners would start building it. They all forgot to build it, sadly. We got Kennen, though, with Hurricane top lane. So
Close,
I guess close enough. Yordle, almost there.
We'll give it to him.
I'll take it. Wrong champ, right build.
Now, again, so with Fnatic here, at this point, when you want to set up Baron, you don't actually have to play all 3 lanes. You can just pick 2 lanes. Push up bot lane, push up mid, and then start getting some vision down. They're starting the Baron here. No reaction from Misfits, except for Kakao.
Kakao can technically steal it. That's why it's still a risky play. It's not necessarily 50-50, but he was going around the other side. And that's a clean Baron from Fnatic. They just sneak it.
Ping goes down. That means it's their cue to take that away. Baron drops from Fnatic, and this could be the big break point on the side of Misfits. Baron has been just so effective on the side of Fnatic when it comes to breaking the base.
And this is something that we have been complaining about the Misfits about. Is just when they fall behind, they never seem to really want to pull the trigger to get the fight that gets them back into the game, and they lose slowly. They just lose control of the game. They buy into the whole scaling from the Caitlyn, but is giving a Baron away uncontested really the right play here?
It's obviously never really the right play unless you are at the point in the game where if you lose their like one member, then they can just finish the game, which is not this case here because we're 24 minutes in. So Misfits had a chance to try and fight their way out, but I think overall they're down now 2-0 in games. They're down in the 3rd game as well. Like, it gets pretty much impossible for Misfits when it comes to really bouncing back also mentally, because they are still such a new team.
Yeah, and they're also playing against such a suffocating Fnatic this game. The pressure, every time they went in for a good trade or they thought they were okay, Brox has showed up and he was really showing that he can also play Elise. He's actually not an Ivern one-trick. Surprise, surprise. Soaz has been dominating top lane, and every time Misfits get a kill, it doesn't lead too much. So
And
it really makes it harder.
How confident can you be to make a call? You call, hey, we're going to get this tower. Fnatic takes 2 in exchange. Hey, we're going to try to make a pick. Fnatic makes 2 back. And as all of your calls start to go wrong, how confident can you be to pull a trigger, to go up into Fnatic, a team you've already lost team fights to?
Yep, it is super, super difficult, and it's where you just rely on individual playmakers, like Kakao as an example. But he can't obviously do it on his own. Alfari, he's been stuck in the side lane all game long, been pushed to his tower. He's actually not even entered the game at any moment, and he's not really going to be able to unless we get like this TP play from him.
He is a victim of false advertising. He sees the Gragas, he's like, well, what a great pick. Can engage for my team, can flank, can set up picks.
Very true.
You know what? I'm going to get super tank. I'm going to play it. Get stuck on the side lane.
Yeah, we wanted to see that Gragas from him. We were like, take it away from him, so it's going to be great.
Where did it bring him? All right. Trap wall here, obviously one of the perks of Caitlyn. She can defend sieges.
There's a hole in the wall, however, so Broxa will continue to keep going.
The one Urukai with the bomb.
He made it through.
Yeah, I like how again, Fnatic just pushing all 3 lanes, setting it up. Trying to kill that one guy who's trying to get in.
And already a tower down, and inhibitor exposed, and if Soaz can take this, it'll make it so much easier to get the rest.
And this is where we can also describe like how beautiful it is, you know. It's just counting dots. You see Fnatic, they're now strong on top side, so Misfits is trying to catch. They just a little bit damage on the turret, then they back up. Now Misfits strong on the top side.
There we go. Now
actually.
leaping forward. Out comes the Alpha Reckless. He's trying to stay alive. Who is going to go down first? No one quite yet. Hansama holding on is the important member to watch.
That was the play we were looking for from Kakao. Sadly for him, the one damage dealer is just
Flash it! Soaz trying to start the fight. Ignar is locked up. Alfari, they're moving. They're trying to get more, but Kakao, he's going to get taken down.
Hansama is untouched, though, and could maybe clean up this team fight.
Maybe looking for a bit more. Soaz running forward, trying to juke, trying to jive, trying to take down Alfari. Body slam going to go wide. Soaz gonna get the outplay in the end. Alfari oversteps, and Fnatic, they just set their sights on the structures.
They will get down Slowly they'll get this inhib down. There we go, they take it. Hansama was set up to carry, but just not farmed enough on this Caitlyn here. Not completed 3 items yet, and again, that's the problem when you do fall behind early.
And the final inhibitor. It looked somewhat okay for the Misfits on that play, but Fnatic, they were dancing around beautifully. Every time Misfits went top, they stopped pushing top and pushed bottom instead. Then Misfits had to put out the fire somewhere else, and they just had few firemen for all the burning that Fnatic was causing right there. Beautiful orchestrated split push, and that has to feel so satisfying on a single Nasher to play 1-3-1 and get 3 inhibs.
27 minutes in, 10K gold lead for Fnatic. They've got a Mountain, they've got an Inferno, they got this fight as well. Everything is going well for them.
Do lose Caps in this one, but it's kind of been the story of this game here. Caps will end up losing his life, and then the team will get something in return.
Big fan of Soaz here in this play, really kiting near the wall.
Love it.
He acted as if he had no gap closer.
He knew the limits of Gragas.
Yeah.
In and out. Like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you can do right now.
Turns out that
73 damage from Power Weaver in that fight.
It's because he didn't build Nasher too.
He's committing to the support, and I gotta respect that. If you play Lulu mid, you're a support.
You step into that role. You take a vow of, not of silence, but just...
I mean, he went Ardent Sense as well, so it is just purely buff Hansama. Now, okay, the good thing when you lose 3 inhibs is you can farm all the lanes with multiple super minions.
Keep telling yourself that.
The bad thing when you lose 3 inhibs is the enemy team can push in with all the super minions and probably just kill all of you and take your nexus.
How long can Misfits hold on? Is there any shot left for them?
Farming right there.
Can
camera.
Can Hansama get the last item? Can Power of Evil play well enough in the team fight to keep him alive, to keep the team together?
Find out on the next episode. Cutting out. No. Fnatic looking for the push here, making it clean 3-0. 3rd place is on the line. Championship points. Redemption for their organization. Also cleaning up their season. Hansama goes low.
Very much in trouble. Have to be careful. Soaz is running forward. Alfari's going to get locked up. Looks like he will get taken out. Cow trying to make a play. Kicks Soaz back. But Soaz! He's just going to turn it right back on them Misfits. They're falling apart, and that is disaster. One final kick from Cacao to close it out. It's quick. It's clean. It's confident. It's going to be the 3-0 for Fnatic. And with that final win, they are going to lock in 3rd place here in the LCS and take the first step on their path to Worlds.
And this still saves the season a bit for Fnatic. They struggled so far, barely not even making it into playoffs, and they can still end on a high, which is really important for them.
Yeah, I think a lot of respect to the players for bouncing back after such a tough regular season where they were 1 game away from making playoffs. They find this playstyle, it clicks, it works, every single player is just on the same page, and they execute it so well. And that's why they take a 3-0. That's why they were the best team on the stage today.
Yeah, they also highlight some crucial flaws in the Misfits.
But I think flaws that we can accept. Again, Misfits, new organization, new team coming in. Crowd cheering as well for.
And once again, for the Misfits, it wasn't always about Spring. Their eyes are set on Worlds. They've made good progress in this split, but they've proven that there's a lot that they need to work on. And on the other side for Fnatic, a team that struggled so much, now showing up today. And that, I mean, you're right. It's not, at the end of the day, it is not the title, but it has to feel good to know that you are still a contender, that you are still at the top of Europe when it comes to teams we look at.
And for the Fnatic organization, they finally found 2 new pieces of talent. Caps, we knew from the start that there was a lot of potential in there. Broxa, we doubted it. We said, you know, I don't think he can be much more than he is right now. And he's definitely been scaling up a lot.
Yeah, seemed like a band-aid in the start, but then actually turned out to be a very important player for this team and had a fantastic performance today in all 3 games, honestly. So well played by Broxa there. And overall, yes, getting these championship points for Fnatic, an organization we expect to fight for top 6 next split as well. And with how close it is right now in Europe, so many teams are very close to each other in terms of overall level. Those points can be so important when it comes to actually locking down the world's spot.
Could be everything. We have 2 new teams coming into the LCS next season as well. So all important to get an edge, to get a lead now, to keep performing, to keep looking good. The crowd supporting him. Caps consistently with a grin on his face. Broxa as well. It's a good look for the team. PoE taking his bow to the German crowd.
Yeah, it has to feel bad. You're obviously coming here with dreams and hopes of performing. But still, they can take home some lessons.
Yeah, it might feel bad right now, but if you're Power of Evil, you look back at this entire split. And it's actually been a good one for
Look where
him.
he came from as well. Like, he struggled for a year on Origin. Now he still got the chance to get to Hamburg, play in front of his fans. So many people here supporting him.
That's the thing, from going, to relegation with Origin to now being on the big stage with the German flag.
He's smiling a tiny bit. It's hard to keep that stern, sad face sometimes when people are cheering for you.
So overall, very good split from him. A lot of respect from fellow mid laners as well in Europe, and overall for Misfits. They're this kind of organization that will be here for a long time. They have the infrastructure in place, passionate owner. Same thing for Fnatic, honestly, and they've been here for many, many years. And it's great to see them now getting that third place win as well.
And after so many years of struggling in playoffs, or not years, so many splits, when Huni and Reignover left, it felt like we would never see Fnatic on top again after all the failures. But here they are, third place, an excellent start on a climb back to the top.
They missed the last event. They weren't even there. So in that sense, it has been progression, and you can't expect an org that has been struggling to just immediately jump back to the top. And I think this is a good springboard if they can continue the progression. That is what they need to work on.
Yeah, I want to see the next evolution of the Fnatic playstyle. If there's a next step, or if it's changing it completely, can they maybe completely perfect it? They got the individual talent on the lineup. I don't think anyone really questioned that coming into the split.
I mean, they changed the talent on the lineup.
Okay, one guy. One guy.
Made a big, big difference. I don't know if you saw those two Ivern games, but
the 4 other guys have been doing well.
I mean,
and they changed one guy.
Yes.
One guy. Yes.
And Broxa was incredibly important over the course of that series. The Ivern games, we were wondering, hey, is he going to have a new champion under his pool? We saw the Kha'Zix come out. It didn't look great for him, but the Ivern was clutch. And despite being disrupted, despite Kakao breathing down his neck at every opportunity he found in the jungle, he still made an impact.
Definitely made an impact, and I think that's again really cool because we got to see some different playstyles from Fnatic. Like, it wasn't just pure early game chaos. It wasn't just
they played on
fight
topside
everywhere.
too.
Yeah, it was topside all of a sudden. It was actually team fights. With that Ivern specifically, protect Reckless in some of these fights. So we got different things, which made it very interesting. Just wish we had seen more from Misfits because I really feel like they could have offered more. But game 1 was really also plagued with nerves from them.
Yeah, I think we saw a mental hit to the Misfits, and in that sense, what they do take home here is stage experience. Same for Fnatic, like Reckless and so as it's not that they don't care, like they enjoy the environment. They're used to it. They've done their rodeos, but for Broxa and Caps, an entirely new environment. I mean, it changes you a little bit, man. Just being on the stage, it's one of the better experiences, and it's really great that they can take it home and actually learn in a controlled environment. Getting your first stage experience on the big one for 3-0 is actually really important.
Yeah, didn't even get to see, hey, are they going to be challenged mentally? Because it looked good from them from the start, and it just kept looking good.
Although Caps probably did play, actually, before, right, on bigger stages?
Yeah,
in Turkey. He obviously got to play in the final as well, so there was some experience.
Yeah.
Step up going into the LCS, something he talked about as well. Like, he's still very young. His first split here, so that's why he's one of the rookies. And we had a lot of good rookies coming into this, like Misfits, Alfari and Samar. 2 very interesting guys to look at. Ignor had some experience from LCK. Kakao obviously had a lot of experience from LCK. So those guys could bring something to the team. But the new young guys in Alfari and Samar, overall, very good splits as well in terms of your first season. And I think it's only going to go up for those 2 guys.
Yeah, they definitely have the potential right there. It's also really good to see the resurgence of Kakao, that he didn't rot away in a LSPL.
In the LSPL.
It was a struggle there for a little bit.
We take Kakao and we put Bengi there now.
Yeah, he goes down.
He takes the place.
Everyone's got to fall at some point. Kakao, potentially on the way back up.
Crowd is going nuts because right now Quickshot is getting ready.
Yeah, and they love
for
Quickshot.
the winners interview. And it's Quickshot they're cheering for with the French flag as well. Not Soas, of course.
Definitely not.
All right, well, Fnatic have ended their series with a dominant 3-0 over Misfits. For more, it's Quickshot standing by with one of our winners.
Thank you very much.